Okay, let's see. Week 1 and 2, or better yet, yeah, chapter weeks 1 and 2. The company I'm doing is Comcast Cable, and let me just give you a brief summary of Comcast. Everybody thinks that Comcast Cable is just a TV cable company. No. They have grown through acquisitions. They started off in 1963. Ralph Roberts purchased American Cable Systems with 1,200 subscribers. Back then, that was in 1963. 1965, Comcast purchased Storecast Corporation of America, a marketing firm that helped food companies track and improve the placement of their products in the supermarkets. 1986, Comcast acquired its first music franchise in Orlando, and it's Muzak, Muzak, and over several years acquired many more. Storecast was a client of Muzak and played background music in retail stores and malls and shopping centers like that. 1969, American Cable renamed itself Comcast and incorporated in Pennsylvania. Obviously, we know how that goes. Tax structure due to legal and tax law. So we go to financial and managerial accounting. Well, changing the company from one state to the other, restructuring and renaming it. Reason why? Financial reasons. That has to do with a lot of planning and also for vision for the future of growing the company. Also, we have in 1972, they went ahead and went public on the New York Stock Exchange, CMCSA. 1973, Comcast Music Network Division became the number one size and independent and Muzak operators, operating over 10 major market areas. 1974, the Philadelphia Flyers, plain and simple, they would just go ahead and expand their portfolio. Sports teams, sports coverage, they own the team, the stadium has their name on it, that means all their products get displayed. Okay? 1975, Mr. Roberts received his first training as a cable installer in Wismore Cable Systems, where he learned how to install cable in homes. He was a hands-on guy. I met the gentleman. I worked for the company at some time. Very nice gentleman. Very smart. 1976, Comcast celebrated its 5th anniversary as a publicly traded company. Dan Aron is named chairman of National Cable Television Association. 1977, Comcast introduces HBO to its first time 20,000 customers in the western Pennsylvania with a 5-night free preview. After the preview ended, more than 3,000 customers ordered the service. That was a risk. When HBO just started, it was the only movie channel to come out. They're the leaders when it comes to premium channeling. HBO is. 1978, Comcast earning exceeded $3 million for the first time. 1978, a company making $3 million. Comcast now makes over $51 billion with a net of $20 billion. The company from there on has just grown through acquisitions, smaller cable companies. 1986, more than doubled its size, had 1.2 million cable customers, with the purchase of a 26% interest in Group W Cable, another acquisition. Comcast makes a founding investment in QVC of $380 million. How we go back to the beginning, how I said everybody thinks it's just a cable company, but yet he has different shows, different revenue streams coming into the company. Comcast Cable alone is also developing technologies for its cable subscribers, infrastructure, cable lines. It's also doing what now it's called the Xfinity project, faster web-based platform, the desktop boxes that you have. There are different sizes, DVRs. All that now is being transitioned into a web-based format with them. Mr. Roberts elected to the Comcast board in 1988. Obviously, he's also the owner, so has a little bit of pull there. Comcast purchases 50% of Stores Communications, increasing its number of Comcast subscribers to 2 million. Another acquisition. Comcast enters the cell phone tower market as American Cell Networks set up cell towers from New Jersey to Delaware. Service territory covered over $2.3 million. 2.3 million subscribers. Comcast Cellular Communication Division is formed. $1993. Another purchase of Vanguard Cable. $94. Acquires McLean Hunters, U.S. cable operator, over 500,000 subscribers, growing the company now to 3.3 million customers in 1994. Comcast UK Cable Partnership, which is constructing a cable communication network in the UK, goes public. So they're not just local, they're overseas also. In 1995, Comcast increases its stakes in QVC, taking a 57% ownership for $1.4 billion. Now think about it. 95, he's taking a bigger stake into the company he already helped found it. 1.4 billion. Comcast announces the acquisition of EW Scripps Cables, 800,000 subscribers. Now the company is 4.3 million in cable alone. Got QVC, the UK division, that's not even counted on subscribers yet. Comcast announces Comcast Sports Net doing regional network channeling in Philadelphia. Now, from this point on, all those regional networks, right, have just grown. Every market has its own regional networks. Comcast sells their service to other cable subscribers in markets that they don't service just because of the sports. The demand from sports alone is huge. Microsoft invests $1 billion in Comcast in 1997. Comcast acquires 51% control of E! Entertainment through a partnership with Disney. Comcast Sportsnet Philadelphia launches. Also, Comcast goes digital network. 1999, Comcast Cellular is sold to SBC Communications in San Antonio for $1.7 billion. Not a bad profit, huh? Making Comcast and Media One announces a $60 million merger. And the merger agreement is terminated after a year. Comcast receives $1.5 billion in termination fees. Like we go back to the whole thing. Comcast has grown exponentially. Its cable market through acquisitions of smaller cable companies. And 4 or 5 years ago, there was a deal between Time Warner and Comcast, and the government shut it down because it would have put them to be the largest cable company subscriber in the United States. One of the reasons why Comcast was positioning itself like that was because AT&T went ahead and purchased digital satellite services. But that was approved because it's two, one satellite and one was a cable or phone line communications. So the government viewed it as two different networks, and they still operate under two different names. Not like Comcast was going to change the name to All Time Warner subscribers. Advancing to 2003-4, the company again acquisitions. Microsoft deal develops interface technology. You have a complete acquisition of TV Tech. 44, beginning the largest operating network of 44 cable and satellite home nationally through related programming. And the list just goes on and on of all the companies that they purchased in the 2000s. Every small little market that their fees, not their fees, how would I say? In the beginning, the FCC went ahead, okay, here's the map, all these zip codes, we divvy them up, each company could bid for them, and they would operate them. They would have between a 20 or a 50-year agreement for those zip codes. Now, they can go ahead and sell it to someone else, but they would have to honor those terms of agreements. Those contracts are very complex. I had to work on a project on one of those things, and it was very confusing. I learned a lot of things in there, especially when it came to FCC rules and regulations. Through the 2000s, early 2000s, they started like Outdoor Life Network, FreeRNet, Style Network, G4. These are all different cable channels or product lines that the company owns and manages. The latest acquisitions was NBC. Let's just fast forward to the last 7 years. The company has basically bought NBC, Universal Studios, and acquired NBC and everything that was under the NBC flagship, Universal Studios, movies, parks. It was a deal, 50% down, and 10 years payment plan, buying it all from GE Capital. After 1 year of operating the parks and NBC and restructuring and all the changes to management they did, just alone Universal Studios, the parks, okay, in Orlando and in California, pretty much they turned around and says, we owe you 9 years left on this note. You know what? We're gonna liquidate it. We don't owe you anything. And that was it. That was just because of the profit changes, management changes, and the profit increases, and also one of the best shows and movies that they had and theme park attractions was the Harry Potter series. Well, I'm going to wrap up because now I got to go to the next chapter. All right.